Hi guys, so this is going to be an updated video about my new young horse Fernanda. This first clip that we're seeing is the point I was up to when I first posted a video about her and the start of her training process. The link to that video is in the description to this video. So the next clips you're going to see are actually from this same day, but I actually just forgot to include them in the last video. It was the first time she was lunged in the bareback pad, and at the start, the first time when I asked her to go forward, she bucked a little bit, so Bernie just asked her with a little bit of pressure on the rope to come back to walk, just so she knew that that's not something that we want. That's not a desirable behavior. We just wanted her to walk and trot to stay. Bernie was actually lunging her because I have had a small sprain in my wrist, so I just in case didn't want to be lunging a 3-year-old. So this was a few days later. I had just actually hand walked her around the yard in the bareback pad. Because she's young, I don't really like her to do much physical work, but it doesn't mean that we can't train a lot, like doing slow things. So I had just walked her around the yard, showed her what life is about on the yard. There's lots to see, lots of machines, lots going on, people riding. So in my previous video, that was the first week she'd arrived, and I had just introduced her to Boo in the sand paddock. Now it was time for them to go out in the field together. The field's really large, and it's just in case she was to gallop around, we walked around the perimeter of the field just so she knew where the fence was, because in case she was to gallop and she might not see the fence against the backdrop of the countryside, so just for her safety. And there, yes, off she goes galloping, and I think she actually almost falls over here.
Just like standing
yes. And actually I was glad to see that after she almost fell over, she was pretty savvy and just trotted then. It's nice to see that she learned from her own mistake. Alright, missus. Wearing a bridle. So this clip is when I'm just doing a little bit more desensitizing with her. I'm jumping up and down on both sides, just getting her used to what will be happening in the future when she is mounted by her rider. So you might notice I do everything from both sides. It's just because I feel like if we're going to ride equally on both sides, it just makes sense to train the horse from the beginning that we do everything from both sides. So that's why I am doing things from the left and the right, because traditionally people just do it from the left side. So you can see I'm just getting her used to my weight being across her back, and Bernie's just turning me in a circle both directions. Actually, this was the first day I actually sat in her. I hadn't actually planned that that's what I needed to do that day. It just felt like right. If she felt relaxed, she'd been really comfortable with everything up to that point. And actually, considering how energetic and kind of crazy she appeared when I first met her, when she was very fresh and she was let loose in the arena at the place I viewed her, her demeanor here with us has been so lovely. She's been so calm, and she's been such a pleasure to do everything with. I'm actually I can't wait until 2021 when I actually ride her properly, because obviously now this is just the beginning of her training. She's actually going to go for the summer up to the north of Holland where my other mare River is. And here you can see now I'm actually sitting on her, and we're just giving her a scratch, just chilling out, because she's pretty used to my weight on her back. She knows when she's done something good. She understands scratching. You can see she's pretty comfortable with my leg being up on her back as well, which is something I was very careful about, that she's used to the feeling of my leg over the top of her bum. Yeah, I just then sit on again one more time this day. I didn't even lunge her or anything this day. She'd just been out in the field all day, and then I just did this in the stable with her. I don't like to lunge her very much at all, not more than once a week, and very lightly when I do it, just because it's not great for a 3-year-old to be lunging on a circle. And yeah, so here Bernie's just gonna turn me around again, and then I'm gonna hop down to the ground again and just sit on her for a second time and then leave it there. So you can see again, I just brush my knee up against her side, her flank, her hindquarters, just before I actually sit on, and then I just keep my body low, just give her a little scratch, tell her how amazing she is, and then call it a day for that. So here she is. This is one of the first times she actually wore side reins. They're just attached really loosely, and I'm just hand walking over some poles, turning her shoulders away from me as I turn, practicing halting. Just like her to use the side reins, hand walking before I actually lunge her in them, just so they get used to the sensation. Turning her shoulders away from me again. I like to do lots of in-hand pole work, especially because when I saw her when she loose jumped, it was all very fast. So I wanted her to know that pulls are something that you can do slowly and take your time to think about. Here I've actually switched to the right side. I like to lead them from both sides as well. You can see actually now, and this is why I actually do it, because you see when I switch sides, she's like, oh, it's different now. So Bernard just goes towards her quarters a little bit, so she walks forward. I don't know why the video, he didn't record any more than that. You can see here now she's walking fine with me on the right side, as she did on the left, which is all that I wanted. So this was one of the first times she was lunged in side reins. This was just when I had began lunging her and I was trying to video. So I didn't actually take many videos this day, unfortunately. This evening, actually, I then flew to Dubai and Saudi Arabia. I was actually gone for 11 days. So whilst I was gone, she was out in the field every day. My boyfriend did a little bit of groundwork with her. She did some long reining and lunging once or twice, but she didn't work more than twice a week. Here you can see she's out in the field with some of my other horses. The little mare on the right side is actually a new horse. Her name is Zizi, and I will make a video about her soon. So as you can see, I am now back from my trip in the Middle East. I had also been to Switzerland to treat horses as well, I'd forgotten. So I had been away for quite a few, I think I'd been away for 2.5 weeks in total. So now you can see this is the 9th of March. She's actually, I was super happy with her this day, not only because of how she lunged, but actually her friends were out in the paddock beside and she wasn't even at all distracted. She was totally focused. So her body's getting a little bit stronger, as is her core. You can see she's finding it a little bit easier to kind of hold herself together and kind of use her body in the correct way. I love in these clips, you can really see how much stronger her canter is. She's much more relaxed through the top line. She's staying united. She's not going disunited in the canter like she used to all the time in the beginning. You can see there she comes back to trot nicely. Her frame's still inconsistent. She's still finding out what it's all about, and her core is obviously not as strong as it will be in the future. So at this stage, I was really happy to see her lunging like this. She's looking more ready to carry a rider. So in a second, she's just going to lose her balance behind for a second. See, she switched behind there, but I like to see that she used to kind of rush and panic when that happened. She just stayed relaxed, lowered her frame and sorted out her hind legs, which I really like to see, and then popped her back into canter. And again, she found the correct lead and then back to trot. So I was really happy with how she was looking at this stage. Here she is now switching on to the left rein. I also make sure I always don't start my work always on the same rein. So I started on the right and switched to the left. For some reason I didn't video the left canter this day, but her right canter was the weaker side, so you've already seen kind of the improvement on her weaker side. Apologies for me not recording everything. She'd already by this stage been long reined 3 or 4 times. I don't have footage of the earlier times she was long reined, but I do have some which I'll include later in the video as the timeline progresses. But I just want to highlight how important the long reining process is. In my opinion, I know a lot of countries they don't long rein, but for me it's the most important aspect before the rider gets on. Here we are just chilling out in the arena before we do some in-hand work. I just like that she can be in the arena and it's not always work, that we can have fun and scratch and enjoy ourselves. So just working on some basic groundwork here, backing her up, yielding her quarters away from me, walking back, inviting her to walk towards me. This is kind of all the basic stuff I do with a horse before I do some liberty work with her. These are kind of all the things that I like to have in place. So I'm just working on this with her just for basic manners. And see, backing up again. And then after this, I'm going to do some more in-hand work in pose. I've just sped it up because it would be boring to watch her walk at a normal pace. Again, stopping, turning her shoulders away from me, yielding the shoulders a little bit, stopping again, walking over the pole. So this was the first time I walked her over 2 poles that were a little bit closer together. They're about 3.5 feet apart. Just that she will take 1 step between both. I just wanted to make sure that she wasn't going to jump it, which she didn't, which was super. And this is her seeing some fillers, which she was quite happy to investigate. She's not at all a nervous or spooky horse. naturally, but I still like to make sure that she sees all of this stuff before she starts her ring career. Now, I didn't complete this video, but you can see Bernard's just doing a little bit of in-hand trotting with her, which she wasn't quite getting. So you can see she's not kind of wanting to stay by his shoulder. She's not really traveling forward. I actually just walked forward and encouraged her there, and didn't video after when it was good, but yes, sorry for that. Here we're just going to let her do a little bit of loose work in the arena, just with the side reins on, because I was feeling like I was getting close to just sitting on her lightly for the first time. So I just wanted her to be used to the sensation of being in the arena with a little bit of contact on the bridle with a roller on.
Yeah, nice flying change, well done. You right, gorgeous? What's up? Hey girl. Hey.
So we did a lot of this, just hand walking, and now we're hand walking in the side reins. We're just exploring the quiet back roads near our stables and around the woods, because I will do a little bit of this with her before she goes on her break until the winter. Here she is loose in the arena again, just in her tack. The weather was bad for 3 days around this time. It was raining a lot, so she wasn't able to go in the field because it was so wet. So she had just been in the sand paddock. That's why she's a little bit fresher. And I didn't really want to lunge her. I don't like to lunge her too much. I think I've said that a few times already in this video. I just prefer to do a little bit more of this type of work because there's more straight lines involved. You know, when you're lunging the horses constantly on a circle. So obviously the straight lines are easier on their young bodies.
Good girl.
I love this about Fernanda. Every single time I've seen her loose in an arena, at least 2 or 3 times she's done this. Just goes over poles, jumps them by herself. Beautifully balanced there and in the middle, Fernanda. Top marks.
Woohoo! Yeah.
And here she is after her run around, just walking over some poles between some fillers. I like to do quite a bit of pole work with my young horses in walk, in hand. I feel like it has quite a lot of value. It's very useful to improve their proprioception, so their awareness of where their body is, where their legs are, in relation to their head. So this was the first time I showed her around the outdoor arena at our stables. Now, when I first walked her in, I felt like she really was tense, like she really was expecting that she would have to run or do something. So I just stood quiet with her for a moment, scratched her, and then she was super chill. She just walked around, explored, she walked, I walked by her shoulder, she kind of led me around, she was really good. And then here I am just leading her from the other side as well. Her sniffing the hedge, just checking she's not missing any snacking opportunities. So here she is doing a little bit of loose schooling again, just to warm up in the side reins. And she will go down the loose jumping chute now, once from the left, just over the pole. She would never ever jump with side reins on, guys, just that was a pole on the floor. Here she is coming round from the right side. The reason I wanted to do this was I just wanted to see her jump like a small cross pull from the right side, because I'd only ever seen her loose jump from the left. Again, traditionally they only do things, especially loose jumping, from the left side. So I just wanted, because she's going to have to jump from both sides with a rider, so I just thought once I'd like to see her over a fence from the right side. You can see, that's actually why I did it. When we send her around from the right, she's like, oh, I haven't done this before, so she wants to stand in the corner. So Bernie just straightens her up, turns her around a little bit, lets her know which way we want her to go, and then off she goes. There's just a little cavaletti and 7 of my human strides to a cross pull. She just popped the cross pull from the right side 3 times only. That was all we needed. She did it perfectly from the right side the last time, so that was enough. I just wanted for her to have jumped a little bit from the right side.
Good girl.
My boyfriend and I are both massive advocates of long reining young horses, so here she is lunging with long reining with the 2 lines in the lunge pen. I always do this inside the arena before we go outside, and when we first go outside, one of us is always by the horse's head, just in case. It's definitely the closest sensation the horse can have to riding without the weight of the rider. Here she is all by herself in the long reins. You can see there's a big tractor on the road there and some trucks are going to go past, and she's so chill. She waits patiently. Something I really, really love to see in a young horse.
Good girl.
And now finally we get to her first little mini ride. You can see we're just going through the normal process that we go through, desensitizing, jumping up and down, pushing my chest against her side, then leaning across her back, walking a circle, all the stuff that we had done previously. Now we're just doing it in the barn. A lot of Irish people do it this way. A lot of people ask me, why do you do it in the barn? Well, our current yard, the lunge pen, the ground isn't great, so I definitely don't want to be riding for the first times in there. The weight of a rider on a not great surface, definitely not what I want to do. The arenas are too large and not safe in my opinion. Sorry, my glasses fell off my face when I was leaning over and broke, and then I sat them in front of the camera. You can see now I'm on her. So yeah, I just like to do it in the barn because it's a little bit of a more confined space. The horses, she's barefoot, which I think is important to say. I wouldn't do this with a horse that had shoes on. But the barefoot babies are definitely there. They do not want to jump around on concrete, you know. If you're in the arena and the sand's under their feet and it's soft, I feel you're more likely to get an explosion of some kind. You can see there somebody's walking through the barn. Again, Bernie's still got the lunge rope clipped onto me. We did a little trot there. The first day my feeling was she wasn't really sure about what to do with the leg at all. Like, she didn't want to go forward. She felt like she should be slow, which again I like it, but rather that than her trying to run or anything, that I have to encourage her forward a little bit's always easier. Now you can see Bernie's actually unclipped me. He's just running by my shoulder, and this is her first trot with a rider without being led, and she was perfect. She's so chill. Again, we had done so much training to this point, like desensitizing her and getting her used to the process, that whenever I actually sat on her, she was totally ready for the experience. You can see here now I am riding her alone. She's a little bit, this is the first time I sat on her, so the steering was still a little bit left something to be desired, but it was the first time she'd been sat on. So you can see I just encouraged her a little bit with the outside rein against the neck just to turn, so using a little bit of neck reining just to support my leg, as I didn't want to have to use my leg too strong, as this was the first time she was ridden. You can see she walks quietly up and down the barn. She's managing well without the handler. She didn't change how she listened to me whenever the handler wasn't around, which was great. She was still as responsive as when the handler was there. This whole ride from start to finish, when I started jumping up and down at the ground desensitizing her, was only 15 minutes. I obviously sped up the desensitizing parts, as you've already seen that earlier on in this video and in the previous video. But you can see there, this is her first trot alone with a rider. And now you can see she's starting to turn a little bit better. If you watch here, you can see there. You can see I just used the right rein against the right side of the neck just to help her turn a little bit. And then again, we trot down the barn. And that was it. We left it there.
That's enough for today.
And this was her second ever ride. Again, I've just sped everything up because you've all seen it before. Just start bouncing up and down, then leaning across her, walking, trotting, stopping, turning. Everything that I'm going to want to do when I'm actually sitting on top of her properly. You can see here now, we're just trotting down the barn. One final time with my weight across her just before I quietly swing my leg across to sit on. Thankfully, her training process to this point has been really uneventful. It's exactly how I would like it to be. You can see now I'm just sitting on. Going to give her a little scratch, and again we're just going to run through the same system of things that we did the first day. Turn a little circle both directions, walk, stop, turn, do a little bit of trot before Bernard lets me go. Here, Bernard's just getting ready to unclip the lead rope, or not even unclip it, it's actually just looped through the bridle, so you can just release one end and it will come loose, just in case. You never know with young horses, better to not have it clipped on. So yes, here we are. I'm just gonna ask her to halt, which she did nicely. Then Bernard just unclips me, sets me free, and then I'm just gonna walk up and down, trot up and down the barn, and then call it a day. So on her second ride, compared to the first, she definitely was a lot more responsive, a lot more forward to the leg, and a lot easier to turn there. You can see I didn't even have to use the neck reining technique that I did the first day. You can see there I just have to encourage her a little bit to walk past Bernard, as she had been led by him for the last couple of minutes. But you can see she's quite happy again to go off on her own, to listen to the rider, not the handler. And now we're just walking up and down. You can see already she's kind of playing around with lowering her head. Obviously my reins are completely soft. You can see here, turning again. Again, I'm just using a little bit of the outside rein. You can see there she kind of hung towards Bernie again. Now I'm going to do a trot down the barn, and felt really nice. She was really listening. I just have to give a little squeeze. Off she pops into trot. Just keeps a nice rhythm, doesn't try to run, just keeps her outline very soft, and then easy to stop at the end. So perfect, I was really happy. And to finish, I'm just going to turn and trot down the barn one more time, just because the time before she had kind of hung towards the handler on the ground. You see there, she's still looking at the handler, but she continued on. Smart little mare. And yeah, that was all she did, and I am looking forward to the future in 2021 when she actually starts her ridden career properly. Like I said, in the next few weeks, once the coronavirus thing settles down, hopefully, she'll be able to travel up to the north of Holland, where she'll stay until the end of the winter.
Back up once more now, that'll do.
So just when she finishes her final trot and I turn around just to get off, she's just a little bit keen to go again. So I just have to ask her to wait, scratch her a little bit, and then when she stands still, then I'll get off. It's important that young horses will stand still. So you can see there I'm just reassuring her, and then she stands, and then that's it. We were done. That is her second ride.